Dayan, Dayan, Dayan. One word, many memes, and a huge drama. But you love your waifu, pulled her no matter what, and won't allow any people to say anything bad about her. But now is the time to build her, choose the right weapon and its attachments, keys and team. You'll know everything you need in this guide. Dayan is our first limited 5-star pure physical main DPS. She has insane mobility, uses the most popular AR weapon type, can dispel enemy buffs and deal extra stability damage, and has an ambush mechanic that can trigger support attacks. And now to the most tricky part. You have probably already read what her skills can do, or maybe watched my previous video, right? The key is in her so-called stackable tuning, which I will call just stacks for simplicity. The maximum amount of stacks is 10. Each stack will give you a 3% crit rate and crit damage. As you can see, the more stacks you have, the more damage you will deal. Her stacks can be divided into two types, normal and permanent. The difference between these two types is that all normal ones will turn into one permanent after using her ult, up to 3 times. There are different ways to gain stacks. The second skill will give you 3 normal stacks. Her passive will give you 1 normal stack before the action, plus 1 permanent, but the condition is for Dayan to take targeted damage once per turn, not AoE and not her teammates, and have at least 2 stacks. Even though her ult will eat all normal stacks, it will give you 1 permanent, as I said earlier, up to 3 times. Plus her fixed key, Serene Serenade, will give you 1 normal stack if your mobility is higher than enemies. This key is great because it allows you to reduce ult cooldown faster. If you have reached the maximum amount of stacks and can obtain a permanent stack, it will replace a normal one. So what do you need to keep in mind? You need to use her second cell buffing skill first, then gain stacks and choose skills depending on the situation. Use her ult and start again. It's also possible to ult, then ult in the next turn if you manage to get 6 stacks or 5 with Serene Serenade key. But the damage will be lower. That's obvious. Did you want to crash the game with 2 stacks? And the cooldown will be higher. Remember to make use of Dayan's high mobility, passive and extra stability shred on her third skill. Attack the enemy not protected by the cover, plus her ambush that can proc support attacks can be a really great help. This woman can also easily deal with those invisible little enemies, but can also help you with bosses with shields or high stability. It's almost impossible to tell you the exact order of skills, because the amount of variability is just insane, starting from different maps, amount of covers, number of enemies, and where they are located. Or maybe it's a boss, but what exact boss? It's simply unpredictable. So you have to get a general idea of how to play and abuse certain mechanics and act depending on the situation. I hope this part is a little easier for you. Now let's move on to less yappy and complicated part, Dayan's weapons. Great news! Her signature weapon Heavy Strings is not an insane upgrade to the other standard 5-star options. Can you believe this? A 20% chance to remove 1 buff is just a joke, and if we consider other buffs it will give to Dayan, it's not better than to Lola's Planeta. Planeta has the same crit damage value, we can even utilize its trait, and it has an even higher flat attack. So, I won't advise pulling her signature, just avoid it, we already have highly comparable weapons. We cannot mention the next great standard 5-star option, Chi&Ju's Golden Melody. It even has the same music vibe in its name, what else do you need? Jokes aside, even though this weapon has an attack percentage subset, it's not a problem, because it will make up for Dayan's lesser built-in attack. Look and compare just pure flat attack of Dayan to Lola, Chi&Ju and Macchiato. Now you believe me, right? Golden Melody will also provide an unconditional 10% damage boost. Nice! A worse but still good option is Battle Pass Guerno. To fully utilize this weapon's bonuses, you have to be close to as many teammates as you can, which is not possible because of her kit. But if you don't have other options, you can pick this weapon just for the attack substat. The most free-to-play friendly variants are the standard 4-star weapon QBZ 191 and the limited 4-star Type 25 that you can pull alongside Dayan. Both are good, just choose the one with the highest dupes. Dayan is dealing only physical damage, so the best set will be Ballistic Boost. The second set is Phase Strike, but just as a temporary substitute with 0 bonuses for her. You will have to farm the physical set, no other options sadly. In attributes we look for crit damage on the muzzle, to compensate for the low attack we look for an attack bonus, then flat attack and crit rate. Actually, 4 of your fixed keys are great. Haze Walker's melody can be used in the beginning if you don't have enough crit rate and still farming for good weapon attachments. But then your staple will be Echo and Melody for even more mobility, Unfulfilled Dreams for smoother rotation, even though we have to abandon 1 point, and of course, Serene Serenade for 1 extra tuning stack, buffing and faster ult. As for the common keys, Dayan's own key is good, just for the crit rate. Movement up with 1 turn cooldown is not insane for her, but this key can be used for other less mobile squishy DPS AR users. Everybody got Wepley for free, right? Unless you're not like me and continue to lose every single time to this beautiful doll bean. Anyway, even though it's really expensive to upgrade Neural Helix, especially for a 5-star, Wepley's common key is just like a cherry on top. Extra attack boost for compensation, plus 7% damage increase for high mobility characters such as Dayan. In general, feel free to choose any common key with crit rate, crit damage and or attack percent. Dayan is pretty good in every team. There are no strict limitations or specific characters to use her with. But I need to say that Dayan can pretty consistently trigger change you action support attacks, so both are a good pairing. I won't recommend pulling for dupes or even her weapon. She is already viable at V0 and has great weapon options on par with her signature. Pull just 1 character copy if you really like her and be happy. Out of every character we had before, sadly she looks like a skippable one, and one of the main reasons to do this is the weakest physical damage and the time she needs to increase her own damage while gaining tuning stacks. Maybe in the future there will be time when the physical type will receive some kind of upgrade, but now feel free to pull Dayan if she is your waifu type. How can you look at these pretty eyes and say that you're not going to pull, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe if this video is helpful. See you in the next video, bye bye!